Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the iOS development channel, Maxcodes. By the end of this video, you will have built out this application, which mimics a UI collection view. We're going to be doing this in SwiftUI with navigation view, list, stack, scroll view, and another custom view, okay? Now, before we get started on this, I just want to talk about a couple things. I got a couple comments. The first comment is this one that you see here on the screen, okay? You'll see I got a request to make this very video. You'll also notice that I replied and said, hey, I'll make this video, and if it's not exactly what you're looking for, then I'll make another vid so that I can show you how to do what exactly you're looking for, okay? So I want to let you know that I'm here and that you can request videos and I'll make them. Now, since he asked this, I actually wrote an entire Medium article on this subject, which is in the description if you prefer a written format. I personally think videos are easier to go through, so by all means, feel free to stick around. This isn't a plug of any sort, which brings me to the next comment I want to talk about. Okay, you'll see here on the screen that this guy, he said too much self-promotion for me. So I'm gonna respect that and tone it down a bit just because I understand how that is. I've seen videos where people plug their products all the time and it's like, okay, why are you here, right? It's like, are you trying to help or are you just trying to sell something? So I understand that and I'll tone that down a bit. But let's go ahead and get started with writing this collection view layout or type layout in SwiftUI. I'll see you in just a second. Okay, so as always, go ahead and create a new Xcode project, single view app. Make sure that use SwiftUI is selected, and I'm gonna call this SwiftUI CV for collection view or whatever you wanna call it. I'm gonna go ahead and hit create, and I'm actually gonna be referencing the Medium article I wrote because it's the exact same thing, and I wrote this right before recording this, and I just wanna see if this is like an approach I might take with future videos, so I'm kind of testing it out with this video. Okay, so I have the live kind of preview updater on the screen, obviously, because I'm running Catalina. If you're not on Catalina, you can just compile to the simulator, no big deal. Okay, so you can see here, we just have our default Hello World application that you get when you use SwiftUI. Now, if I flip over to, after looking at this, Hello World, if I flip over here, you'll see that I've written this tutorial in written format, right? And obviously it's pretty simple, step by step. This will be done so quick. So first, create a project and add a navigation view. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to add in a navigation view. I'm going to go ahead and put a bar title as well. You'll see there's a bar title. So let's go into our code and cut out the hello world and just say navigation view. Let's go ahead and paste that in there, and let's hit Command Option P if you're running Catalina, because it will compile it to this immediately. Okay, let's go ahead and let's say dot with, let's see, navigation bar title, I believe it was called. Let me flip over to Chrome. My autocomplete's not working. Yeah, navigation bar title. So let's say navigation bar title and then throw in text. And I'm just going to put in, oh shoot, sorry, this is a bit crumpled up. Let me close the side there with Command 0. And I will say, what do I call it? Tech posts. Isn't that awesome how it just updates immediately? Okay, so that's what we have so far. We're now done with step 1. Go ahead and, or step 2, go ahead and make sure that you have this in here and it looks like that. Okay, we're now ready to go on to step 3 where we're going to declare our box struct. Now for the next couple steps, we're not going to see anything on the screen because it's really just setup, right? You'll see I have a lot of setup things here, okay? So let's go ahead and get the box on the screen by simply going over to our code, and above our struct here, let's create another struct and let's say box. This is going to contain our box with the images and the title, okay? So we'll say var ID and int, okay? Now the reason we have to use ID is will be explained on later in the video, but it's essentially like React where you have to use a key when iterating over things. Okay, then we'll say let title and image URL, and we'll say string, and that's our data structure for our box, okay? Now what we want to do is we want to declare an array of boxes. So we'll go in here and we'll say let boxes is of type box array. We'll set this equal to an empty array. Now we just want to fill it up with 5 items with some image names. So we'll say box, we'll choose the initializer, ID will start with 0, title, you can put whatever, I'm just going to put what I put before, so good stuff. Image URL, I'm just going to use the string 0. And then you can put a comma and start adding more items, okay? Let me put that over just a bit so you can see that. Okay, now what we can do is we can just copy this 4 or 5 times, and we can say 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we can rename the titles like tech, code, photo, since I'm into photography, and SwiftUI, since SwiftUI is dope. Okay, image URL 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, this is the last step in step 3, so the last sub-step. Basically, we need to add in some images, right? You'll see I have 4 or 5 images here, 6 images. Let's go ahead and get 4 or 5 images in there, okay? So 5 images. What I'm going to do is open this up and go to my assets folder, and I'm going to open up my Finder and get those images. Okay, I'm going to flip over into my downloads where I have those images, and they're all right here. Now, you can get these exact images on unsplash.com. They're completely free, not a plug, just free images. I really like Unsplash. It's a good service. I'll put a link in the description to my profile because I do upload photos to Unsplash. Okay. All right, so get some images in there. It does not matter where you get them again. Just make sure you get some images. And here is my profile right here, okay? You'll see I have photos that I've uploaded. You'll also see that I've liked photos, which are of other people. So kind of a cool little website. Okay, anyway, we don't want to talk too much about that. Just want to let you know where to get free photos. Okay, so you'll see I named these 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make sure that these are named that, or at least make sure that they match whatever you put in the image URL for the boxes, okay? Perfect. Okay, so what we want to do now is move on to the next step. That is step 4. Create a box view struct. Okay, now what we're going to do here is we're going to create basically the thing that contains the image and the title, right? Now, before we create the struct, I'm going to show you how to do this straight within, and then we'll move on to that. So I'm going to make it a little bit longer in the video just to be a little bit more descriptive, since it's easier to show you things faster in video, okay? That's why I prefer video, really. All right, so let's go ahead and let's simply, in here, instead of returning text, let's get rid of that, and let's put in a VStack, and this VStack will contain our image. And for now, I'm just going to put 0, okay, to get our first image. And then what I'm going to do is say text, and I'll say box, not box.title, but I'll say good stuff, right? Now I'll pull that over a bit so it looks more like it's contained here. Not sure why this has to be within navigation view. I would expect it to be a modifier on navigation view. Maybe it'll work both ways. Not sure why it would the other way, but let's go ahead and try this out, okay? That's really weird that this works within navigation view, right? I would think that it would have to be on the outside of navigation view. Anyway, you'll see that we get this effect. Wow, that's a really nice image. I really like that. Shouts to Alex Acia on Instagram. That's his image. All right, anyway, you'll see that it's way too big, right? We can fix this by first giving it a frame. So we'll say frame with a width and a height. The height will be 80 and the width will be 80. And that's not all we need to add, because you'll see that it doesn't entirely fix it. The frame works because now text is down there. So technically the frame of this image view, it actually is like that size, but we need to say resizable to make it smaller. So we'll say resizable, and make sure that's before frame. The order does matter. Okay, perfect. We have that. And now let's just add in the corner radius. So we'll say dot corner radius 12. And that should give it a nice little corner radius. Perfect. Okay, now for text, we just want to give it a font and a font weight. So we'll say font dot subheadline and font weight bold. Pretty easy stuff that if you've watched my previous SwiftUI videos, you know about already. Okay, so that's our little cell. Now we can move on to step 4 in here, where we pack it up inside of a box view struct. Okay, so this is really simple, and I'll drag that off the screen and just show you it. We'll say struct box view is of type view, and then we'll say var body sum view. And then what we'll do is we'll simply cut this VStack out and we'll call it. We'll say box view, and then we'll paste it in here. Perfect. That should be good. Let's go ahead and recompile that and see if it works. But you'll see it doesn't really look much different because it's the same thing, right? So let's copy box view a few times, paste that in a few times, and recompile that with Command Option P. And you'll see we have 3 of them now. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy. but how do we get them to go horizontally? Well, pretty simple stuff. We just need to introduce an H stack. Go ahead and cut those out and say H stack and paste it in there. And you'll see now that they are horizontally aligned within the H stack, like you would in a collection view. But how do we get it to scroll? Okay, good question. First thing, we need more boxes to span across the screen. And now we have our problem, right? It extends past the screen, not really a great user experience because you can't get to all your items. So what we want to do is we want to cut these out with the H stack. So cut the entire H stack out and put in a scroll view. Introducing a scroll view here will give us that scrolling functionality within our H stack. Okay, so now we can scroll inside of our H stack, but we can't here until we hit this play button at the bottom right. Okay, so go ahead and hit that play button or compile it to the iPhone XR simulator or whatever simulator you use, and we should be good. You'll see now that we have this nice scroll effect. Okay, but how do we get our custom data in there? And that's where we iterate using for each, and we're going to talk a little bit more about ID and how that relates to React. Okay, so what we'll do is we will cut out all of these except for one, and then I'll cut this last one out so I have it on the clipboard, Command X. And then what we're going to do is say for each, and we will wrap this like so. We'll say boxes.identified by returns a collection of identifier value pairs computed on demand by calling getID. Go ahead and hit return there. And then this key path box hashable, you'll see it's generics. We can say backslash and then put a set of parentheses. Actually, we don't need that. So used to string interpolation here. We just need the backslash and a period, and then we'll say ID, okay? Then what we'll do is we will close it off and we will put a bracket there and we'll say box in, and then we'll hit return. Now, if you missed that, go ahead and pause the video and get this in here, okay? And then I'm just gonna paste box view. Okay, perfect. That should work. Let's go ahead and compile this and see if it works. Okay, so it's doing it. It works great. And it has the amount of elements we have, right? We have 5 of these, okay? But how do we get the custom data in? Really simple, very similar to React. We're just going to have to say in our box view down here at the bottom of my screen, let box is of type box view, not box view, but just box, because it's going to be the type of our struct up here. And you'll see now we get this error on line 31, missing argument. What we need to do is we need to pass in this box right here into our box view. We now have access to each individual unique box item in each individual instance of box view. And instead of saying image0, we can now say box.image URL, and that will take this box's image URL and put it in there. We can do the same with title by saying box.title, and we now have a completed app. Let's go ahead and compile this and make sure everything is working properly. Build succeeded, and this should appear with custom images. Perfect, looks fantastic. But there's one more thing I want to add, and that's just a little bit of padding. We can go onto our scroll view here and say .padding is 20. Okay, let's go ahead and hit Command-Shift-P if you're using this, or Command, I can't even remember, Command-R for the simulator. Yeah, Command-R will automatically run the simulator. Anyway, ignore that build failed. I just quit it. Okay, perfect. So you'll see that works. Now, where's our tech posts? Okay, I guess that's what happens when we put it on the outside of navigation view. So I'm going to cut that and put it within. So it's technically like a modifier on our scroll view, which is really weird to me. I don't know why that is the way it is, but you'll see we have tech posts. Okay, so that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and check out the links in the description, and check out my website if you want to be on the free list to get tech news, okay? Let me know what videos you want to see, and I'll make them, just like I made this video. And hey man, if you're watching this right now, let me know if this answered your question. If it didn't, drop another comment, and let's talk about it and come to terms, like come to an agreement of what we're trying to build, and I'll build it. I'll make out a video, an article for it, and show you how to build whatever you want to build, all right? Sweet, hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the very next video. Catch you later, guys.